Hello everyone, my name is Nick Harrison with Rocky River Woodworks, and today I'm going to be redoing my miter saw station and specifically the miter saw station fence, so stay tuned. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove my Craig top track and the existing miter saw fence station. I'm then going to loosen up the bolts holding down my miter saw, disconnect all the tubing, and remove the miter saw itself. Next, I'm going to remove the panel that the miter saw was sitting on and undo all the screws underneath my left side workbench that was holding that bench down, and remove all those pieces of plywood that was on that bench. This is a little difficult because since it is OSB, the dust was covering some of the screws and I had a hard time finding some of those screws holding it down. Once it's removed, I'm going to remove the support blocks on the center and undo that bench support from the wall so that I can move it out a little bit. I'm then going to measure the width of the miter saw base. In my case, I'm at about 24 inches. My right side workbench with all the drawers is not going to move. I'm moving my left side, so I just need to measure and see how far I need to cut off to get 24 inches and then add 1.5 inches to that to account for a 2x4, and then use a combination square to line up those lines. Grab my jigsaw and cut it off. Now I'm putting my level in line with the right side workbench and making sure everything is still level, plumb, square, all the above. Getting the legs undone to reuse some of those 2x4s to make the end of the left side workbench support, as well as the new support legs. Now I'm just undoing that support from the wall. I'm going to put a level on my miter saw and measure down to see how much I need to account for when I drop in my miter saw support. For some reason my video camera did not work on a few clips in this video, but I'm getting everything squared up here with that panel. The lowered portion there will hold the miter saw to account for the depth, and that way the top of the miter saw will be flush to the top of my workbenches. After securing the panel in place, I'm trimming up the OSB from the previous workbench tops to match since I am shortening it up. You can do this with a track saw or table saw if you don't have a steady hand and don't want to do it with a circular saw. Here I'm just leveling up to the miter saw fence and drawing a line, and then tracing out my line with the Incra T-Track Plus that I'm going to be using. Again, I missed some video footage here. Basically, I just set up a track and mitered the edge, and then redid the track to miter the other edge, cleaned it out, and then mitered out the center. The next thing is to make sure that my mitered track is square to the miter saw fence, and then carry that line over to the right side workbench, where I will set up the same thing, clamp down a track to hold everything in place, and then router that side as well. Next thing to do is just use a chisel to square up the corners, get everything neatened and tidied up, and then do a test fit with the T-Track to make sure it is sitting where you want it and in place. I then grab the screws that come with the T-Track and secure the T-Track down into the workbench top. Now I'm ready to position the miter saw, so I use a level to make sure everything is square to each other and secure the miter saw in place. Now I'm making a block to be used with the T-Track. So I just cut a piece of maple, get it where I want it, and then use a nail punch to punch a hole, take it to the drill press and drill a hole through it the same size as the bolts that I'll be using. Do a test fit, slide it into the track, get the block where I want it. And again, I didn't get a video, but I did glue some pieces of wood on the bottom of this stop block just to hold the stop block square to the T-Track. Once it's in place, I get the turn knob threaded onto the bolt, and the stop block portion is done. I'm now ready to set my adhesive tape that comes with it. In this case, it's actually not adhesive, but what I did was cut a 19-inch piece of maple that I knew was 19 inches, set my stop block there, and then slide the measuring tape to where it needed to be to match 19 inches to ensure everything was accurate, and then I install the rest of the tape going to the left accordingly. That's all for this video. I hope you found value in it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.